Joining me now in studio is Jalen Law. Jalen, thank you for coming on the show, and I'm so happy to have you. It's so crazy because we have a connection already. Previously, you nominated Lindsay Taylor before I landed Good Deeds Buffalo.
Yes.
We have a YouTube video where we did an interview. So it's so wonderful to have you on the show.
Yes, it's very, I definitely have to say congratulations to you on this newfound success for yourself. I felt, as I said before, it feels like a full circle experience being in the library and we doing our first interview and me talking about why Lindsay was such a good candidate as a Good Deeds individual for you to interview.
Yeah.
So thank you again. I'm definitely congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. For our viewers that are watching now, when did you start doing artwork and your passion for art? When did it really start?
Talking to my brother, I've been drawing since I was 2 years old.
Okay.
He used to babysit me and he would leave me on the floor sometime and I would draw on a piece of paper and a pen and I would just practice drawing circles.
Just continually going at it?
Going at it, and he noticed that there was something there in terms of how well defined the circle would be.
Okay.
And then gradually from there at age 4, I took that skill set and I was creating my own short stories, comic books, and I used to sell them during my times in daycare and kindergarten. So from there on, art has always been with me during this process, as well as the entrepreneurial spirit.
So it's really stayed with you since then. Now, we had talked about art, but art means so much to so many.
Yes.
What is art to you?
Art is a vehicle to be able to communicate the uncommunicatable.
Understood. Okay.
It's the ability to tap into the unknown and pulling matter out from the unknown to make it known to the best of our abilities. And it can either empower people, inspire people, or it can take people to a totally different direction.
Understood. So it's kind of a vehicle to bring those thoughts to the forefront, or the idea of the art to the forefront, right?
The things that we don't see now tangibly, but we see in our minds, and being able to bring those things forth.
Okay. Now, what else do you do for fun in the community?
What I find fun is being able to find different ways of incorporating art and using art in a way to be able to help people.
Okay.
So I've always had this inclination of wanting to use art as a tool for healing and personal development. So out in the community, one of the things that I do is I've developed a social emotional learning program, which is geared towards teaching people how to develop their emotional intelligence skills by using visual art and music. And
that's fascinating, because it's something that we don't normally see, right? Like, there's not really a program right now besides yours that I know of that teaches you how to use those feelings and put it towards art, right?
And that's just one of many examples of what I would like to do outside into the community and reach out to the community. But essentially, again, it goes back to that passion of using my talent to be able to transform it into a service for other people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, what does, you mentioned, you actually spoke about this earlier. Does art have the power to bring communities together?
Yes, most definitely. Art, as I said before, it communicates on such deep levels, and depending on one's intention of how they want to use art, be it for positive or negative, it can either bring people together or repel people. I've taken, in my personal work, in my personal practice, I've taken the responsibility of using art to do the formal, which is bring people together.
Wonderful. Now, with your artwork, what has been your favorite mural you've painted?
The current one that I completed in partnership with the NFTA, Visions for Tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I find it to be my favorite one is because of the outpouring of just encouragement from the local Niagara Falls community and how they responded in my presence there, and as well as their feedback in terms of how well executed the installation was in their eyes.
Wonderful. So they've seen you doing the art, putting the art up, and they appreciated it, and that support, it meant a lot to you then, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, what do you have any other ideas to bring arts to Buffalo?
Currently, as one idea of bringing arts to Buffalo, I'm currently the president as well as co-founder of a nonprofit organization called Buffalo's Own, and we're about providing, resources for artists, regardless of levels, to be able to grow their careers creatively and professionally. And one of the ways we do that is we partner up and collaborate with different art galleries or different organizations or businesses in larger art markets to curate pop-up events and exhibits to give artists from the Western New York area an opportunity to further develop their skill set.
So it gives them an opportunity to showcase their work and hopefully earn more opportunities.
Yes, correct.
And that's so nice that you're able to lead them in the right direction.
And it's been truly an honor to be able to do so. We first succeeded at this endeavor in 2019 when we partnered up with the Urban Art Gallery in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I was able to curate a month-long show in October, inviting 5 local artists from Buffalo, New York to exhibit their best work. So it was a 2-floor gallery. We ended up filling up the whole gallery space, and a lot of the artists that exhibited at that event sold almost virtually out of their artwork.
They sold out of their artwork. That is amazing. So you gave them an opportunity, and they took it. You know, their art landed them that opportunity, and that is awesome. Now, can you tell me about some resources your nonprofit offers?
We just finished our second annual art expo, which is an event that artists, artisans, and also local small business owners can be a part of, where every year we provide a vendor experience where each person, if you're an artist, you'll get a wall space, and you can create that wall space as your personal gallery space, or you get a vendor's table where you can create your own exhibition space, so to speak, to promote and sell your products or services. And so in 2019 we did that, and we ended up selling out at like 500 ticket registrations.
That is exciting. So Buffalo seems to be very involved, I would say, in embracing your art and the art that our community, puts, out.
Yes.
What is the Jalen Law Collection?
Well, yes, the Jalen Law Collection is separate from Buffalo's Own. The Jalen Law Collection was a company that I've been developing since my days in college. But the vision of the Jalen Law Collection is, as I said before, is to use art as a tool for healing and personal development. And so primary focus is to do so by providing different social emotional learning programming for school-age students, whether elementary all the way to high school. But on the other end of it is what you see is public art installations, original artwork for private collectors as well as corporate collectors.
Yeah. And a lot of your artwork is very thought-provoking too, right? Like a lot of it is really eye-opening. At least that's how I see it.
I'm glad that you have given me that feedback. That means I'm on the right track, because when it comes to the personal artwork, my intention is to, depending on the subject matter, is to focus as to the best of my abilities to remove myself from the content of the work, so the person that's observing the work can get a raw experience of what the message is without my bias being involved. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I get it right.
Well, I would say you're doing pretty good. I looked through quite a bit of your work before we had you on, and I really do, admire what you do.
Thank you.
Now, I saw recently, and you mentioned it, that you painted the NFTA metro station inside there on Portage Road.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that artwork specifically and why it was important to the community?
Yes. That particular artwork, prior to that, and it relates to your question, prior to that, I worked on a mural for the Niagara Falls Heritage Center, documenting the life of professional boxer Calvin Porter, who's born and raised in Niagara Falls.
So hometown people.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And during my experience of painting the portrait of Calvin Porter, I would talk to some of the local residents, and the feedback would be interesting in what their perspective was on the city. It was either very negative or very positive. But the commonality between, regardless of who was on either side of the spectrum, was when I would ask them the question of what exactly is their vision for the city of Niagara Falls, nobody could give me a really concise answer. And so that interaction, that engagement is what inspired the concept of what I completed inside the Portage Rd Transportation Center, was to use art as a tool to spark real conversations and to give people a safe space to be able to, without judgment, anonymously give their feedback on what is their vision for a better Niagara Falls. And how they're able to do that is in two ways. Once they experience the artwork, on the far right side of the mural itself, if they're technologically able, they can scan the QR code and it will take them to a website where they can write their feedback anonymously, or they can write their feedback on a suggestion box, which will be installed under the QR code.
Oh, wow. So with this new technology, technically, not really new technology, we've had barcodes, but
Yes.
you've incorporated that to be able to give them their feedback anonymously.
Yes.
That is wonderful. And now Niagara Falls will really feel that their opinion matters, and that is such a great way to bring art and that together. Now, can you tell me about any projects that you have in the works right now?
Yes, currently I have an array of different projects, but I'll try to keep it concise as possible. Currently, I am helping co-curate a art exhibit in Dallas, Texas in October.
Wow, all the way to Dallas, Texas.
Yes, this exhibit is for a young man by the name of Trey Spadone.
Okay.
And Trey is a New Orleans born artist who's currently incarcerated.
Okay.
But however, with the support of his family and his first cousin William, they're developing an art business around his artwork to sell as well as exhibit. So I'm helping Trey and his cousin William prepare for their his first solo exhibition called Extraordinary Mistakes, which takes you on a journey of his process to redemption, essentially.
Okay. So it's a little bit of an inside view of his redemption.
Yes.
And I think I actually seen something online, and it looks like some pretty interesting artwork that he's able to curate. And that's awesome that his family is helping him show his art and you. Good luck in Dallas, and you can learn how to help Jalen in his mission online at gooddeedsbuffalo.tv. Welcome back to Good Deeds Buffalo. I'm your host, Jordan James. We are here with my guest, Jalen Law. Now, can you tell me a little bit more about the emotional intelligence program?
Yes, the emotional intelligence program is broken up into 4 different branches. So to teach emotional intelligence, you are covering self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And so, you know, at times we tend to undermine that our emotions play a crucial role in how we make decisions as we go on through our day.
Okay.
And so this program, I started developing it in 2018. I was going through a transition phase in my career, and I wanted to really dig deep into really figuring out how can I use art to be able to help others in a more profound way. And so I just took the leap of faith, and I reached out personally to the president of Yale University, Dr. Peter Salovey, whose pretty much on emotional intelligence was his research. He responded back to me within 24 hours and sent me a lot of links to his research, and I started reading through, and then from there I started combining what I knew about art and created this program.
Okay. So, and did you mention you have an event coming up with? Yes,
in partnership with both Flow Music and Arts Foundation and the Salvation Army. This whole month of August, I worked closely with the Salvation Army Summer Youth Program and teaching the first principle of emotional intelligence, which was all about self-awareness. And so we went through a series of different exercises and projects and lessons, really digging deep about who we really are to the best of our abilities in relation to who we want to be in the future. Now, this program was working with kids between ages about 8 through 13 years of age. So on August 29th at the Buffalo Music and Art Festival at the Buffalo Central Terminal this year, we will be exhibiting the kids' artworks virtually at the Music and Art Festival event.
Okay. So you guys are going to be able to allow those kids to have some of their artwork shown.
Yes.
And celebrate the arts, right?
Yes.
Well, that is just a good time, I would say. Now,